When you walk into the room, she don't talk with a train and a silver spoon. She goes, whoa.
So this is your second marathon. Obviously you've done New York already last year. Before that you were a 10k guy.
Yeah.
A 5k guy, 10k guy. Had the marathon been in your plans for a while?
I don't know. Like last year I did the 5 and 10 as I'd done kind of every year from sort of 2007 through 2011. Went out to Mount Stanford last year. Didn't go very well. Had some Achilles problems over the summer. And then was coming back thinking of possible goals and options, and being a natural endurance kind of runner over the years, I've always been preferred the longer distances. The further the race, the better I seem to do, and the marathon's the obvious endurance test. So we decided to have a crack at one in the autumn last year.
Okay, and then so you must have been in build-up for a few weeks now. I know you're out in Kenya earlier on this spring and this winter.
Yeah.
How was it out there?
Kenya was absolutely fantastic. Like if there's ever a time to get out there as well, it's January when you're in the depths of the winter here, where you've got ice and snow on the ground. But yeah, it went absolutely brilliantly. Like floor training pretty much throughout. Really seems to get myself in the shape to, once I get back, to then really crack on with the marathon training.
And what was the coaching setup like out there? Obviously you've got John Nuttall here, but I know you were working with various other people as well.
Well, yeah, John obviously sets the main schedule, but one of my good friends, actually Gavin Smith, who I was best man for at his wedding, he's since moved out to Kenya, and he's been working with Canova,
right,
the top coaches in the marathon running in the world. So I was quite fortunate enough to learn a lot from Gavin and speak to Renato as well.
So you got to pick his brains.
Pick their brains, find out what these 203, 204 Kenyans are doing.
It's probably a good way of going about it.
And it's interesting talking to them. The first thing he said, he asked me my PBs. He said, "What have you ran for 10k?" I said 28 and a half, and he sort of immediately says, "You can run 2829, no problem,
right,
as long as you convert well over the distances, rather than the typical, perhaps British mentality is 28 minute, 13:45, 13:50 guys. For some reason, standards have dropped so much over the years that it's become acceptable for them to run 2:15, 2:16.
And that won't be acceptable.
No, and it shouldn't be. You should have to run 2:12 or better to make an Olympic team. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I agree with you. So have you been adding elements of his training in? Has it been good since you got back?
Yeah, I've very much changed up my training and added a lot more longer, more specific pace things than what I was doing before New York. And perhaps it was possibly a case of not being too fit for New York and maybe just not really quite knowing what I was doing, and the inexperience really tell. But yeah, we've added a lot more marathon specific pace stuff, and being fitter as well this time has really helped with actually being able to...
You've just been going into the build-up?
Going into the build-up in shape and being able to complete the sessions. Yeah.
So there are lessons you've taken from both the race and for the training build-up from New York?
Yeah, because you learn the most about yourself when things go horribly wrong. You don't learn so much when things go well, it's when something goes terribly wrong, which New York, by all accounts, did go horribly wrong. So what I did was break absolutely everything down, looked at it, what happened on the race day, what happened in the build-up, the training, my strategy on the day, and then how could I change this and make things better. And I think I'm now in a lot better position to hopefully get things right this time.
Yeah, because I asked the other guys, Alex and Luke, about whether the first one is more a learning experience than anything else. Is that something you'd agree with? Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't have to be. Like, it is possible to get the first one right, and there's plenty of guys that do go out and run absolutely fantastic debuts, but I don't think it's necessarily the end of the world if you don't run a great debut, as long as you're not either deterred from the event or do yourself serious long-term damage. Just dig yourself a huge hole, go into the wall and don't recover properly, which I don't think... that definitely didn't happen to me. So I recovered quite quickly. and I wasn't deterred from the event.
And that's good to see.
So,
as you've already done one, how different did you find the mental aspect of the marathon, especially with it not going well, I suppose, compared to like a 5k or a 10k?
It is a strange event. Like, it's quite easy to think things are going better than they are, certainly early on. When I went through halfway, I think in New York in '67, I was feeling absolutely fine. I thought, oh, this is all right. If I die here, the worst I'm going to run's about 2:16, 2:17. Get to 20 miles and still think I can die and run 2:18, which is a respectable debut. I had no idea what was going to happen those last few miles when the legs had just gone, that I couldn't break 6-minute pace for the last few miles. And,
right.
And I think it is in training is putting yourself in position as much as you can so that you're ready to deal with what that last 10k does.
Obviously, you were out at Tulsa in the States.
Yeah.
Do you think if you hadn't been in the NCAA system, you would have moved up to the marathon earlier, or was the plan always come Olympic year, I'll give it a go?
Who knows? I mean, who's to say I'd even be running if I hadn't gone to the NCAA system, whether I would have just drifted into normal real life and got a full-time job and been working or doing a career type of job. I really would have no idea, actually.
Yeah.
It's certainly, I guess the American system gave me a good starting point, and the learning how to train and getting the decent mileage and decent endurance for 3 years.
Yeah. So you really up your mileage when you went there?
Yeah, definitely. That's just natural progression as well in age as well.
Tell us about the training group here. Obviously, you've got Hains and you've got Luke Cragg here, and I know you work for Matt O'Dowd now as well. So he's got to be a pretty understanding boss when it comes to training.
We've got there's a huge group of runners in. I'm working in Loughborough College in the elite sports department, and the runners in there. So we've got me, Matt O'Dowd he was an Olympian in the marathon in 2004. Luke Cragg's just started working in there, my training partner at the moment, that's great, really absolutely ideal. There's other runners, Tom Gale, Mr. Atletico's, Spencer Newport was a 13:48 guy, I think it was, a few years back, and Chris McGeorge was, I think, Commonwealth medalist in the 800 World Student Games champion. So there's pretty much everyone in the department's run at some kind of decent level at some point. So we're very much used to each other.
So it's pretty easy to fit the training around a job.
Yeah, it's working great. Really, and enjoying the job. It's a great team, and the works itself is nice, and it's ideal for training. And there's no journey; it's 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
So it's a good setup.
Yeah. So you've been training with Cragg, have you, mainly?
With the Cragg Master. Yeah.
How's that going? Pretty well?
Yeah, the boy he loves mileage.
He does.
There's no upper limit on how much he's going to run. If you ever want a guy to run with, you could give him a call. And he's doing well on the specific sessions. He's hitting them right well. Like he's really. Hopefully he's going to run quite well in London.
Fantastic, good to hear.
Yeah.
Was there any specific reason why you chose London, or is it just a bit of a no-brainer in terms of the time and the field?
It's a no-brainer really, and the support that they give with the Virgin London Marathon with the camps, the Kenya trips is absolutely fantastic, and the support they're going to give for the Brits setting the race up so that we're all in the best chance possible to run that time. So it was a no-brainer, and they actually the entire London Marathon staff came out to Kenya when we were out there to launch the elite men's race. Was launched while we were out there, so they had the press conference over the Rift Valley. Yeah, Dave Bedford in the middle, the 6 Kenyan men on his right, the 6 Kenyan women on the left, Rift Valley in the backdrop. Yeah, that
really a better place.
That was brilliant to see that. And then they had a race for all the kids on the Saturday, I think. The following day there was hundreds of little Kenyan kids running from one end of town to the other.
It's just one of those iconic races, I suppose.
And it sponsored that entire race, and I think they're even sponsoring the town in some way. So when you go into a 10, it's got like the big archway as you go into the town. It's got Virgin London Marathon Home of Champions.
Brilliant.
So and they've been great. So it was a no-brainer to me.
Fantastic. So do you still have long-term aspirations on the track at all, or are you a marathon guy?
No, definitely. I love the track. Like, whilst I'm running London this year, is Stevie, the housemate, she's planning to go out to Stanford and Mount Sac, which is what I've done the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm kind of annoyed to be missing that this year. I know I'm doing the marathon instead, but yeah, I'll definitely be back back on the track.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to seeing that as well.
Trying to get back down in the 5 and 10k PBs.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for talking to us, and we'll check back in with you again and
good.
and check the training's going well. But yeah, good luck with it.
Cheers, Jeff.